Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our pet talk today. My name is Dr. Alisan Parnes. I am a veterinarian in Georgia. I have been practicing for the last 19 years, small animal exclusively, so dogs and cats pretty much, but I'm also certified in veterinary acupuncture and excited to share with you something that I learned about probably almost 7 years ago that has truly changed the way that I approach health with my patients, and also the way that I have been able to help some of my patients deal with some issues that I didn't really have great tools for before. So just want to give you guys a little bit of education on a brand new technology that is really changing the way that our animals age. And I will be talking a little bit about humans in this as well, because it also affects all mammals, what we're going to talk about. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. I am going to just share my screen and go through a little PowerPoint presentation here. So give me 1 second to do that. Okay. All right, so we're just going to start by just talking about how to flip the switch on our pets' health and longevity. And this is going to be the topic of today. So as I mentioned, I am a veterinarian, graduated from the University of Georgia back in 2002, went on to complete a small animal surgery and internal medicine internship at a busy practice here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then about 10 years into practice, decided to get my certification in acupuncture. And really the reason behind that was because after about 10 years of practice, I was starting to really struggle with just seeing a lot of these animals coming in, you know, at all different ages with different chronic conditions, cancer, arthritis in their older age, and feeling like, you know, I would treat them with medications, but then I would run out of options. People were wanting more. Things would work for a little while, or sometimes they would even cause problems that we had to treat with other medications. And, felt like I was just sort of on this wheel of trying different drugs to treat these different conditions and never really feeling like I was getting to the root cause of what was wrong with them. And maybe had I started something earlier on in their life, could we have potentially avoided the situation that they were in, or possibly slowed it down. So I was really kind of just grasping for other solutions and other answers. And really a lot of times, the clients would be the ones that would really spark this interest in me, because they would bring their animals in. These were animals I had been seeing for years in some cases. And, they would just ask me questions, is there anything more we can do? Or what could I have done to prevent this? Or, what caused this condition? And I just felt like I didn't have enough information to answer those questions. It could be their genetics, it could be their environment, it could be so many different things. And so that's really what led me into pursuing acupuncture, is because I really wanted to have additional tools to be able to help these patients when traditional Western medicine had done all it could do. And so again, my curiosity and passion was addressing the root cause of these illnesses. What started this whole process? How can we get a handle on it? How can we get ahead of it? So when you're looking at root cause, you're really having to dig down deep into the cellular level, because all health resides in the cell. If you have healthy cells, you have healthy organs, you have healthy tissues, you have a healthy body. And so we really have to go down to that root level. And as you can see, this cell on the left is a healthy cell. Over time, it gets damaged by something called free radicals. And these free radicals literally bombard our cells every single day and eventually can lead to cell death. And this is what creates inflammation in our bodies. This is what creates the aging process. And so these free radicals are what we have to address. How do we slow down this cellular damage? And what causes free radicals? So just really free radicals come from a lot of different things. It comes from just the act of breathing. It is a natural byproduct of breathing and taking in oxygen. And as we metabolize that oxygen, these little free radicals start to build up in our body, and they are unstable molecules. They go around trying to steal electrons from our other cells, in the process damaging them. So just the process of breathing and eating and normal metabolic things that happen on a subconscious level are creating a large amount of free radicals. But then when you add on environmental factors such as pollution and radiation and chemicals, pesticides, I mean, all these different things that we're exposed to in our environment, that literally ramps up the production of free radicals to an astronomical amount. And so now what happens is we're overwhelming our bodies with free radicals, and it's too much for our normal natural defenses to handle. So something called oxidative stress develops. And oxidative stress is basically that imbalance of the buildup of free radicals and our body's inability to combat them. And as a result, you get a lot of cellular damage that occurs. And it's kind of crazy. Oxidative stress is present in all of our cells. And the number that's been calculated for the average person is that we produce 300 sextillion free radicals every single day. So imagine, I mean, look at that number with those zeros, right? That is a huge amount of free radicals that is happening just without us even realizing it every day in our bodies. And I'm talking about our animals as well. And it's really the same process that happens with the browning of an apple. So when you cut open an apple, it's that nice pristine fruit, right? And the longer that it's exposed to air, you start to see that shriveled brown appearance there. And that's really indicative of the aging process on a very rapid trajectory, right? But this is what's happening in our bodies every day as the oxidative stress is developing. And same thing with metal. When you expose metal to moisture and air, you get rust. Well, oxidative stress is literally rusting of the cells. So we are all rusting on the inside. As bad as that sounds, that's really how aging works. So let's just sort of talk about it from a veterinary perspective, because I know that all of us as animal lovers, we want our pets to live as long as possible. We want them to have good quality of life. And unfortunately, some of these animals that end up, living to an older age sometimes struggle for a lot of those end stage, last years of their life. So we want to give them not only quantity, but quality of life. And that is really, as an acupuncturist and integrative veterinarian, what my focus is I want them to live longer, but I want them to enjoy that life and have good years. And so looking at it from the animal perspective, again, oxidative stress is present in all of our animals. Starting at birth, it starts to happen. It affects every tissue, it affects every species. So not only dogs, but also cats and humans, and really every single mammal, horses. And when you look at the average lifespan of pets versus humans, for example, they age obviously much faster than us, right? They reach adulthood by, 12 to 18 months of age versus humans, it takes 18 years. So they are on a rapid aging process, right? And their oxidative stress levels tend to be much higher than even in humans. So that 300 sextillion number is probably double, if not triple, in our pets. And so, unfortunately, we live in a toxic world. As I mentioned, all the different things that cause free radicals earlier. You can add to our pets the idea of insecticides, or we're putting flea and heartworm medication into them or on them every single month. In a lot of cases, we're giving them deworming medications. They're also outside. They're eating things off the ground that we can't control every little thing that they come into contact with. Their feet are touching the ground, and so they can be absorbing different chemicals and things through the ground. Just by they're not wearing shoes like we are. So they are truly, exposed to higher levels of, I think, chemicals and toxins than even we are in many cases. Not only that, they're drinking tap water usually. Tap water actually can have a lot of problems as far as chemicals, heavy metals, and different things, pesticides and hormones that are in the water. They're typically eating heavily processed foods. I know a few people that cook for their animals, but the majority are feeding, a dry processed food, which these foods are generally heated at very high temperatures. It creates carcinogens. There are a lot of times food coloring, additives, glycophosphates, GMOs, and different preservatives. So again, more things that you're putting into their bodies that are creating these free radicals. So why is oxidative stress and free radicals a big deal? Well, this is something called the oxidative stress wheel that I like to share with people because I just want them to understand oxidative stress is linked to pretty much everything that you don't want in your body. It is the root cause of inflammation and disease, and it affects every cell. So you can see it manifest in different ways throughout the body depending on the genetics. And so there may be some animals that are prone to degenerative joint disease. It may manifest as arthritis. You may have animals that have kidney disease. You may see it come out with heart disease, other autoimmune diseases. And this goes for humans too. I mean, this is truly depending on your genetics, and these environmental triggers with oxidative stress, you're going to see different manifestations of that. And so again, these different disease processes that can occur from oxidative stress can, looking at that and looking at that link, if we can learn how to reduce oxidative stress, then you can make that deduction, connect those dots of potentially how we could help people and animals, right? So anyway, I like to show that. And then, so how do we fight oxidative stress? That's really the question. How do we combat this? And pretty much since the 70s, the only way we've really known to combat it is through something called direct antioxidants, which everybody's heard of, right? Your vitamin C, your vitamin E, your flavonoids, your omega-3 fatty acids. You can also think of it as food ingredients, foods that we're eating every day with blueberries and fruits and vegetables. And these are all great things. It's not that they're not great. The problem is with the amount of oxidative stress that's happening within our bodies, it's just not powerful enough to make a huge difference in reducing that. And so looking at this ratio here, you can think of a direct antioxidant as basically a one and done process. So you're taking a vitamin C, you're taking a vitamin E, and I know many people that give their pets these supplements, which again is fine, but you're only working on a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning one vitamin C or vitamin E is knocking out one free radical. So it's one and done. It's not activating your body to do anything. And so when you're looking at a number like 306 trillion free radicals, knocking out one, yes, you're fighting a free radical, but you're not reducing the overall oxidative stress. And so the analogy I like to use is basically it's like pouring a Dixie cup of water on a house fire. We just cannot consume enough direct antioxidants to make a significant impact on oxidative stress. So the key is we have to flip the switch on our bodies to produce more antioxidant enzymes, because we're all made to be able to combat free radicals in a major way. And we do this through a system of enzymes called SOD, catalase, glutathione. Those are the three big ones. These are present in all of our cells, dogs, cats, humans, horses, everything. And when we're young, when animals are young, they produce massive amounts of these enzymes. But as they start to age, their production starts to drop. And so as a result, oxidative stress rises. However, science has discovered that there is something called NRF2, which is a protein messenger that resides in all of our cells that when activated, turns back on the production of these enzymes to the level they were when we were young. And what happens with these enzymes is as they start to increase in production, they are now able to neutralize free radicals in a massive way. So rather than the 1-to-1 ratio over on the left-hand side, these enzymes, our body's own enzymes, are neutralizing 1 million free radicals every single second. And as they're fighting and gobbling up these free radicals, that is how we can have a significant impact on oxidative stress and reduce it. So This is similar to the analogy of the Dixie cup on a house fire. This is like having a fire hose in every room of the house. So this is what we want to do. It's no longer about supplementing with antioxidants. We need to activate our bodies to do what they're designed to do. And we do that through something called NRF2 activation. And that is exactly what Pet Tandem is. This product is the very first NRF2 activator for dogs. As I mentioned, it can also be used in other mammals, and I'll get to that. But this turns on that production of antioxidant enzymes in our pets, in our dogs, to now fight that free radical damage and oxidative stress. And not only does it help just get to the root cause of a lot of these conditions, it also slows down the aging process. So what is in this? It is composed of 5 herbs, all very great herbs in their own. You know, they've been studied and used for thousands of years, but milk thistle, bacopa, ashwagandha, green tea, and turmeric. And it's these 5 herbs, when they're combined in a specific ratio in this formulation, is what activates that NRF2 pathway. And I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, I give my dog milk thistle. I mean, we've used that for years in general practice, and a lot of people use turmeric and that sort of thing. But what I want people to understand is that it's not about the individual ingredients, it's about the recipe of all 5 together. So there's something called synergy, when you can use small amounts of certain ingredients, and they can be very mild, you know, on their own, but when you combine them in a certain ratio, they amplify the effects of each other. So what you see here is all these individual herbs and their effect on our antioxidant production, and they have a very small, you know, amount of efficacy by themselves, but when combined together, what you see here is on the right with Protandim, they're 18 times more potent, and that is through the NRF2 activation pathway. So if you deviate from that recipe, you don't get the same type of NRF2 activation. And there's actually a peer-reviewed study to show this, and also why this product actually has patents on it. And this is showing Protandim NRF2, which is the same thing as Pet Tandem, except this is the human version. And you know, the Pet Tandem is a chewable flavored tablet, but both of these things I use interchangeably with animals. And you know, the difference really is just based on the weight and the ease. So I'll get into that a little bit later. But going back to Pet Tandem, one thing that I really love about this is that we do have a clinical study on dogs. And what this study really looked at, it looked at a group of 80 dogs. Average age was around 8 years old. About half of them had been diagnosed with arthritis, but generally they were healthy dogs, just had some joint issues. And what they were looking at in this study is their overall disability scores, meaning, you know, how active were they, how energetic were they, and you know, as dogs get older, around that 8 years, you know, some people start to see them slow down and things like that. So they were looking at just their overall you know, activity levels and attitude, but they were also measuring the enzymes in their blood. And what they found was that during this study, so this was a 60-day study, so 2 months, and this was double-blind, placebo-controlled. So the owners and the veterinarians had no idea which group of dogs were getting the actual product versus a placebo. But halfway through the study, the owners and the veterinary staff could tell which dogs were actually taking the active product, because all of them noticed a huge change in these dogs that were taking the Pet Tandem. They noticed that these dogs were more energetic, they were more playful, they were more active, they were walking better. You know, so it was crazy before the study was even unblinded that they already knew which dogs were taking this product versus the placebo. And of course, finally, when it was unblinded, they were right. And several of these dogs in the study that had been diagnosed with hip dysplasia had a 30% improvement in their, you know, disability scores, meaning that they were moving better, they weren't showing, you know, as many signs of pain and that sort of thing. And then also the blood changes, which I was really excited to see this. They were measuring that antioxidant enzyme production, and it showed an overall 47% increase in catalase. And that's, again, one of these massive, defenses against oxidative stress, increased to that degree, versus there was actually a decline in the dogs taking the placebo. So I love that we have a dog study on this product showing not only, the outward signs of that we look at, but also the blood markers. So getting to the human version, which works the same way, I just want to share this. This really is what got my attention with this product, because again, I've used a lot of nutraceuticals in practice, and herbs and traditional Chinese medicine. I've always been very fascinated and interested in that. And there's a lot of things out there you're going to hear about. Oh, this product is great. This product is great. And, you go to do research on it and you can't really find any science behind it. You can, find some good marketing material, but how do you know it's really doing what it says it does? Well, this is what got my attention with Protandim, and really why I became very passionate about it is because we have a ton of peer-reviewed research, third party, that have been done by, look at all these names up here, universities and medical schools, American Heart Association. So these are institutions that have funded their own research on these products, and all of them are published on pubmed.gov. I would encourage all of you to go to PubMed to do your research. This is where doctors go to do their research. It's the National Institute of Health, Library of Medicine. And just type in Protandim and you're going to see all of these studies pop up. We have over 24 studies now on Protandim. And also, if you're curious about a specific ailment, you can type in that ailment plus oxidative stress, and you can see if there's a link. And so if there's a link, then, you connect those dots. Nerve-2 activation. This was one of the studies done by Washington State University. In their conclusions said that is the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So this Nerve-2 activation is something that you're going to start hearing. We're really kind of replacing, again, the whole idea of supplementation, and we're getting into activation through working with our genes. So how can Protandim help our furry babies? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we know that reducing oxidative stress is going to help in many ways, but some of the benefits you might see: just better skin and hair coat, increased energy, improved endurance, a better immune system, better joint health and mobility, better joint health, stronger resistance allergies. That's been a big one. I have noticed, I'm in the Southeast, and we see a lot of dogs coming in with skin problems, ear infections. That's probably the number one thing that we see in general practice here. And I can say that I have seen a lot of dogs do much better once starting this product, as far as their allergies go. But better tooth and gum health, that's another big one. Heart health, increased cognitive function. We know in humans that Alzheimer's disease is associated with oxidative stress. And, in dogs, we see a similar condition. We call it canine cognitive dysfunction, but essentially oxidative stress affects the brain as they get older. And so this is something that actually has been shown to improve their cognitive ability as well. So dose-wise, this is on the product. So depending on the size of your animal, it tells you how many tablets to give. Once it gets up into the large and giant breeds, I generally will switch them to the human version, because rather than give 3 to 4 tablets of the Protandim, you can substitute that with 1 tablet of the human Protandim. So sometimes that's just easier for owners rather than having to buy multiple bottles throughout the month of the Protandim. It's easier for them just to get the human Protandim. Again, they can be totally used interchangeably. The human version, you just have to probably hide in a treat. So that's the only difference. The Protandim, my dogs love these. They'll eat them up. They're both about 50 to 60 pounds. So they get 2 tablets a day, and they think of it as their treat every day, and they love it. The other thing that I really wanted to emphasize about, if you're giving your animals or looking for any kind of nutritional supplement, you want to make sure that they have a third-party quality safety seal. And the NASC is really the gold standard for animal supplements. This is a third-party group that comes in, they test the products, they do auditing of the manufacturing. They make sure that it's good quality, that the manufacturing practices are good. So, you know, we want to make sure that what we're putting in our own bodies and our animals' bodies are pure, that they are effective, that they are what they say they are. So having these third-party companies come in and do this is really important. So I always tell people to look for that seal in anything that they're giving their animal. And so I'm really thrilled that our company went out, LifeVantage went out to seek this seal for our pet tandem. So that is on the label as well. Okay, next, I want to just show you guys a video because I think videos are worth 1,000 words or more. So I can share science all day long, but I want to share a video, one of my favorite ones that actually is on YouTube. I first saw this video before I started using it in practice, and I thought, there is no way that this dog responded like this. Well, I will tell you, after almost 7 years of using it, this doesn't surprise me at all what you're going to see, because I have seen many similar cases as this dog, Cassie. So just want to share this video, and then I'm happy to take some questions afterwards.
Cassie, come here. Cassie. Get him! Yeah. Cassie, be nice, Cassie. Hey! Hey! Sit. Stalemate. Cassie, you go for a ride in the truck? Come on. Go. Go. Come on. Come on. All right. Good job. You got your stick, don't you?
I mean, really, wasn't that incredible? I just absolutely love watching that video. I sometimes show one of the videos of the very first patient that I put on Pet Tandem, and it was very similar in that response, that this dog had to be carried in and out, could not walk well at all. We had talked about euthanasia on multiple occasions, and 6 weeks for her after starting Pet Tandem. I got a similar video of her running around in the backyard, and the owners were just amazed by it. So I've seen really incredible things with my patients. I've also had incredible results with the humans in my life, and many times pet owners who see this happen with their animals say, well, it sounds, I should be on this product. So, you know, pretty soon the whole family's on it. You know, that's the situation in our house. But anyway, I have enjoyed sharing with you guys, and I'm happy to stay on and answer questions. I don't know if we want to stop the recording, but I know we're right at 30 minutes, so I don't want to take up too much time for everyone. So with that, just get back to the person who invited you to this call if you'd like some more information on Pet Tandem, and I'm sure they will direct you to the right place. So thank you guys so much.